let me just get this popped up here because I have a PowerPoint I want to show you. And some of this will be redundant information, but I just want to remind everybody because not everybody knows everything about Sounds of Autism. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing this information, not assuming that you already know. So I think we're started as far as recording goes, and I think we're good to go. So Sounds of Autism was founded in May of 2011. We became a 501c3 organization since 2012. And because I worked a full-time job, I could only do really part-time. So it gave me 10 years to build an audience and really learn what people were struggling with to raise a child with autism or special needs, period, because a lot of these families fall into the same category. And one of the things that I noticed was very difficult was that autism doesn't technically fall under mental health. However, many of the treatments are exactly the same. And because of that, there's this issue with many people responding to this population and treating them as if they're struggling with a mental health issue, a harm to themselves and others. I do apologize. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody so that we don't have these issues. I do apologize. And Bernadette, maybe you're able to mute everybody?
Yes, I'm checking on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Start again here. Can you hear me? Okay. And so going back, we're talking to law enforcement, and many times because they don't understand the world of autism, they'll respond and they'll be taking and transporting people on the autism spectrum to the same place they would take somebody that is a harm to themselves or others. And we're finding that there's a lot of friction that is happening. So education is key to everything that we do, and that's why we do what we do. So for the last 10 years, we've built our program, and now we're actually executing our program. That said, we have 16 programs under our umbrella. They're broken into 4 phases. The first phase is the survival phase, which we'll talk a little bit more about tonight because that's the one that we're in right now. We're moving into 2022, which is where we'll be executing the compassion phase. And then we're working on building right now the job and life skill phase. And then the last one will be independent living solutions. And each of these programs have, or phases have 4 programs under their umbrella, and they're going to be strategically and methodically planned out for execution purposes so that we're not overwhelming people or oversensory people with the information, because there's a lot, as we know. We created a roadmap, and the roadmap gives you a visual from prenatal, which is the fortune cookie, to the puberty monster when chemicals start changing within this population that could cause that mental health issue as well. And then goes all the way up to the independent living solution where mom and dad are saying, enjoy your gingerbread house, you earned it. And on the other side of this roadmap, we added milestone, critical milestone components and resources and support solutions that we felt families would need to be successful on this journey. If I could explain and define this when I had this vision, it was that what to expect when you're expecting book that many parents have when they're having their first child, second child. They read every single week, what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. And that step by step really helps us. But then once we have that baby, we kind of forget about that book because we're so busy. But the reality is that shares also the milestones that many of these parents are missing. And because of that, their child is not getting diagnosed, or it's very, very late in their life. So we created a model, and this model was built off of an educational platform business model, and it's called Bloom Taxonomy, and the highest level of that business model is called creativity. And so we took this highest level of education and we made that the first step of our 3 steps within our business model. So creating model is step 1. And then this is a model that I created in 1997. and it's a business model. And the highest level of this business model is the signature stage. And basically what we're telling you is that if you do everything we tell you to do, peer-to-peer training and holding people accountable and executing knowledge and being successful and making sure that everybody feels comfortable in the business world, you can put your signature on that. And that's the highest level of the business model that we created. And then the last one is Edutopia, adding empowerment, the empowerment model. That's the highest level of Edutopia is making sure that you're giving everybody a unified chance to work together and be successful in a society where everybody gets along and everybody does work together, and that's empowerment. So this is what the business model that every time we build a program, we execute something, we always discuss this as a team, combining higher levels of education and business solutions to empower all communities with more sustainable job skills and independent life skills. That is our goal from stage one, which is boots on the ground, all the way to independent living and all the 16 programs that are going to execute to get us to this final solution. In phase one, we executed Families of the Spectrum Unite, which is early intervention. We're out there seeking out families. We're not waiting for them to find us, we're finding them. And we're doing that through all of our community partners that we've made over the last 10 years. We're sharing, this is what the signs of autism look like. This is what the signs of at-risk population look like. Your child is not hitting their milestones. These are what the milestones are that they should be hitting. Your doctor probably won't know. So because they won't know, we're going to share this with you. And we're going to do that through your daycares. We're going to do that through your preschools. We're going to do that through your educational leaders, people in the community, your neighbors, anybody that's willing to listen. And we're going to try to find that child between 0 to 5 years old because 90% of their brain development is happening at that time. So it's critical. Otherwise, you have to start over and recondition this child if you were not conditioning them correctly. Once we find these families, we then seek out mental and behavioral health solutions. We do that through resource centers that exist. We have 11 cities, including Luke Air Force Base. And out of the 11 cities with Luke Air Force Base, I believe we only have maybe 6 or 7 true resource centers in these cities. So when a family lives in a city that doesn't have a resource center and they need help, they have to go outside their city. Their taxpayer money is not being used correctly, and they have to go and find somebody to help them, especially during crisis. This is what we're trying to educate the community leaders on, is that we need to fix these things. And if they're not going to have a resource center, they at least need to have some type of resource list, which we will provide for them, so they can hand it out to their families when they're asking for help. That's leadership. And then once we do that, we're also seeking out these same families and these same community partners so that we can teach and educate crisis intervention. So that if these kids down the road have an encounter, especially when that puberty kicks in, and they need help, that these officers know how to respond to the autism and at-risk population, and the at-risk and autism population know how to respond to the first responders. We were accepted by AZ Post this year. AZ Post allows Sounds of Autism to train any and all law enforcement, 911 operators, and anybody in the first responder world in the state of Arizona. So that's a huge acceptance. And now we're building the curriculum. We're meeting with law enforcement to build curriculum to educate people. You getting up? Okay, get him up. Keep pushing until he gets up, okay? Yeah. Okay, so 10 minutes, check on him again, okay? Okay, keep going. I do apologize. Landon's in charge of waking Kevin up, and that's going to be really hard. So, so anyway, and then we get to life skills and job skills. We start at preschool, but we're actually starting on our boots on the ground campaign with our college students. We're educating them on how important it is to teach making the bed translates into working in a hotel where you would make a bed, which translate into our STOP project, which is our workforce development program, so that when adults graduate, they still have the opportunity to connect with Sounds of Autism virtually or mobile throughout Arizona, all over the world, where we meet with these students, and students that I'm working with currently will be prepared to execute our plan and our program on a daily basis, Monday through Thursday, summer camps, after school programs. So the autism will do peer-to-peer training with these students, so that if your 22-year-old is sitting at home and you don't have a plan because you're working, your husband's working, you don't have siblings or anybody to drive this child, and they don't qualify for any long-term care, and you can't afford to get them the help they need, this program is complementary to everyone, and we can help them get to that level of at least being able to possibly sustain a job and more independent living solutions. And we just ask the parents to help support us with training and developing throughout their lives, and continue doing that. But we're trying to do this starting at preschool. So by the time they get to an adult life, mom and dad don't have to do too much work because we've already done the work. And we just got to catch up the kids right now and the adults right now. So our responsibilities in the team that we have right now, it's my husband and myself, and right now my daughter is sitting as an interim board of director until we legally change it on the Arizona Corporate Commission. We have an old board member that no longer works with us, and Alexis, now that she's graduating college, is interested in participating as a board of director. She doesn't live in our home, and she gets to be a voting right to some of the things that we're doing. But I really believe that Kevin, myself, and Alexis are all on the same page when it comes to what we need to do to support this population as they grow into their adult lives. In Arizona, our executive board is Bernadette Smith, our Arizona lead, Josh Napoleon, he's from the north, Steve and Angelo, Samantha and Katie, Julie and Sanaida, and all of these people work on some type of something in our organization. Every one of them wears multiple hats. Angelo might be helping me network, and tomorrow he'll be writing grants or doing sponsorships or out educating people or teaching them money management skills. Every one of us wears many hats, and we also work other jobs and do other things to support the cause, as well as our families and bringing in income. So it's very difficult. Not one of us right now is taking a true salary, and we chose to do that because we want to build our little nest egg. And then once we're ready to go and we have some savings in our bank account, then we will subcontract these people to start doing the training and developing of our team. It's unfair. These guys have worked with me for years, and many of them have never been paid. I want to pay our team. Our coaches are Landon, Alex, Isabella, Carter, and Jeremy, all people on the autism spectrum. And we have others that will be joining us down the road. But right now, these are the people currently working with us. And Jeremy is 45 years old, and Isabella is 10 years old. So we have a broad spectrum of people that need help. And Jeremy, 45 years old, master's degree student, nutrition background, professional bodybuilder, and he still struggles to get a job. And he has a master's degree in education. So we need to help. We need to help this population. We've unified responder cities all over the West Valley: Goodyear, Avondale, Litchfield Park, Tolleson, Peoria, Glendale, Surprise, Buckeye, El Mirage, Phoenix, Luke Air Force Base. And what's really cool is our students from ASU and Maricopa Community Colleges that are boots on the ground for us right now, they have reached out to all of these cities, and every one of these cities said, we are a partner with Sounds of Autism already, which is really exciting, including police and including the resource centers that we work with. So we have some really positive things going on right now. We've also gone in the north, and we've just dabbled a little bit. Out of the 10 cities that we're focusing on, Scottsdale, Carefree, Prescott, and Flagstaff have all agreed to join us. We're working on Sedona and some others that we will be, Paradise Valley, we'll be working with them. Bernadette will help me get those unified. And then we are going to be working in the south, and then we'll finish off in the east by next year. So 2022, the state of Arizona will be completely unified, and we're going to be launching our pilot in Canada, Illinois, and potentially California. But I'm going to show you what that looks like, because you're going to be like, how are you going to do all this? We have a plan. Responsibilities in Canada, our team is James, who's our Canadian lead, Leah, and she's coaching Ainsley, who's a high school student, and Leah and Ainsley are going to do the boots on the ground, and James is going to help me with financial sponsorship so that we can find people to sponsor us in Canada so that Leah and Ainsley and all of our college students there can help support families, and we'll build a lot of our curriculum here, and they'll be utilizing it because they don't have the resources in the provinces in Canada. So this is a great way to show that we're able to do this virtually, and Leah and Ainsley are super excited. They're working with the colleges already, and we already have people that are willing to sponsor us in Canada. We just have to get it set up correctly and make sure that everything's set up and our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted, because we don't know anything about Canada. And James is going to have to teach us all that. But he's a banking background and Leah's an educator. So we picked the best people, and all three of them have autism. So that's even more exciting to me. How will we grow in 2022? Well, now that our students have gone out and they're working with the West Valley leaders, and those leaders continuously grow with us every single day, and they get stronger and stronger with our relationship. We now need to keep them top of the mind, and they need to keep us top of the mind. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to build compassion and empathy programs. So Notes on the Spectrum, Bringing a Voice to Autism. You can go on our YouTube page right now, and we have over 30 podcasters, community leaders that are podcasting for us. A lot of it is raw and real. We haven't done anything to edit anything, so you're going to see it raw and real, and sometimes we'll make a mistake and start over, and that's okay. But we wanted to get the information out there because we felt that when somebody's in crisis, it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not, just get me the help I need. And that's what our families are. So we'll take a lot of the content from these raw and real autism talks and tips, and we will create PSAs and just a bunch of different things. I use a lot of these videos now on the Facebook posts that I do, because I want to make sure that we continuously educate people, and people all over the world look at these and view these and are just constantly doing this. But if you go to our website is constantly being redesigned, and right now it's to the point where they can go on there and they can click on early intervention, IEP evaluations, how to plan for a funeral, how to plan for money management, how to work with insurance companies, or how to get my child qualified for DDD and DES services at 17 and 18, special needs trust, you name it. We have all kinds of different topics on there, crisis intervention, working with law enforcement. You can go on there on our website and click a button, and the category goes immediately to the most current video that we have. And you can look at our library. We call it our digital resource and support library with all our vetted and safe resources. We're also working on One Act Plays. We have a group of autistic adults that are very creative that are going to be working with us in 2022, along with the high schools, to start educating high school students about different things that happen within the autism population, so that by the time they get to college, they've already seen a lot of this stuff. And we're doing that through performances and music and all kinds of different creative ways to get them excited about it, because not everybody wants to talk about autism, especially if they don't have any kind of connection. So we figured if we do acts of one act plays and music and all that kind of stuff, it makes it more exciting for somebody at that age. We also have our Lanimals Fun with Animals show. And Landon and Alex and Isabella have been working on a 26 A to Z hybrid animal collection. So Lanimals will be doing some, spots out at the Wildlife Zoo or out at the Phoenix Zoo or at the pig farm, but they're also going to introduce and rebrand and brand our Lanimals Fun with Animals show using the hybrid animal collection. Once these animals are drawn, I'm going to be looking for a 3D printer that can print out these animals so that they become a true like type animal, these plastic animals. And each of these animals will have a story. They'll be a superhero. They'll have a superhero type of power. Some of them will play sports, so that we can use Carter in his sports background to be able to give these animals a fun, exciting, that they'll have hats and a basketball and all these different things, just to really bring awareness through education. And this is where we'll get our early intervention people involved, because these animals will be for kids, starting out. And I'm thinking that we can even make weighted blankets with these animals, stuff these weighted blankets with all these animals. So when these kids are sleeping, this weight is pushing on them, which helps them with their sensory but it also gives them some peace because they have these animals sitting on them and sleeping with them. So they have a friend. Siblings on Board will be asking for testimonials all next year with our student that works with Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU. She's going to be joining us, and we will be asking her to do testimonial through siblings. And anyone that offers this testimonial to us will have their name put into a drawing for college scholarships. We know that's very important because we have a student and she always asks for money. So this is a great way to help. And then we have our Spectrum line, which is our clothing line. And this is going to change up a little bit, but you're going to see a lot of different things coming out. And it's going to be one or two pieces, not just, a whole collection of t-shirts. It's going to be different things that we're going to do. They all are going to have a story. And the lines are going to be changing, which means this is something that has to do with police departments, but if it's a red line, it's fire departments. If it's purple, it's mental health. We're going to change the lines and the story will align with the type of line that's in that tag or on that shirt. We want people to be aware of autism, but we're trying to find ways to make it fun and to be able to support autism without feeling like they have to wear a puzzle piece or they have to wear something. We want it to be different and higher end. How will we grow in 2023? I am always 2 years ahead in the development stage before execution. So right now, I've been working this year and I'll be working next year with Alex and his friends to execute our workforce development program. Alex and Landon will lead this along with Isabella, Carter, Jeremy, and any other students that are joining us. I had 2 moms over the weekend that had 22-year-old daughters that sat, 2 different stories, both moms crying their eyes out because their students, their adults don't have anywhere to go. They don't have friendships. They don't have anything that they need to be a part of society because mom and dad work, they can't afford it, and they don't qualify for long-term care. When I shared with them about our program, both moms became very emotional because they realized that we have something that will benefit everybody and they could do it virtually. They don't have to worry about transportation or anything at this point. And mom and dad, they care more about socialization and these kids having friends than they do about them making income right now. And we love that because we're going to teach them how to sustain jobs. We're going to be looking for community partners out in the community that will hire these people. But right now, our community is not ready for that. So just building these relationships and building these survival teams and that they can work together, we're going to be doing that through, we call it the Blue Crew. The Blue Crew is City of Phoenix police officers that get together once a month, once every quarter, and they talk about working with St. Mary's food banks and Habitat for Humanity and in the community. And these people, the autism population, at-risk population, pairing up with the police department is our goal so that we can give true hands-on experience of working with the autism population. Just like we want to train officers, we know that the best way for them to learn about this population is to work side by side with them. And we're going to be doing the same thing in the city of Glendale. The city of Glendale is willing to donate a street to us and put our sign on there, the Sounds of Autism Street. And our commitment is just keeping it clean every quarter. So we'll be doing a lot, and we're going to ask the veterans to help us with that as well. Canada, we're going to go boots on the ground, but again, it's just a pilot program. We're going to execute exactly what we're doing here with our phase 1 in Canada. And we'll probably just stick to phase 1 for now in all the states and all the countries that we move to, because we're doing a lot of development and educational curriculum development and these empathy and compassion curriculums. We're doing that here in the States. We don't need to do it anywhere else at this time. People can utilize what we're doing, and we put it on YouTube, which offers every language. All of this can be translated into a different language. So people don't have to worry about, oh, I don't speak English. Well, that's okay. If you speak French, just change your language on YouTube and you can kind of understand what we're saying and what we're talking about. We're also talking about our national pilot program, which is going to be Illinois first, because that's where I'm from originally, and I feel comfortable there. And we're going to start piloting our program there. Same thing, boots on the ground, working with college students all over, finding one leader that will lead the entire state of Illinois, like Bernadette's doing, and then having a group of people that will do the regions throughout the state of Illinois. We're asking people to join our team. We're looking for corporate sponsors, people that can go out and find sponsorship for Sounds of Autism. We will teach them how to do that. That'll be a team that Bernadette, Angela, and myself will be creating this year. And then these corporate sponsors will be helping us. This is a commission-based position. And when they find these corporate sponsors, they get a portion of the proceeds. We have grant ambassadors. Those people are helping us write grants, and they're working under the direction of other grant writers, so they get the help and support they need. And we make it super easy. I do a lot of the writing, so it's more copy and paste and looking for those grants. We're looking for a director of long-term investment teams. And those investment teams can be regional. They could be multiple throughout the state of Arizona. These long-term investment teams are people that are going to go out and find other people that are interested in supporting the autism population, that want to invest their money in what we're doing. And they call this an endowment. Is that correct, Angelo? An endowment team. And this endowment team basically sets up long-term funding for Sounds of Autism so that we can live off the proceeds that are made through investing this money, so that we never worry about Sounds of Autism having sustainability. We're also looking for somebody that can help us with social media. I do a lot of our social media, but I would like somebody to help support me with that. An administrative assistant for Bernadette to help her as well. So these are some of the jobs that we'll be seeking out. And if you know somebody, or you know somebody that might want to volunteer to start out, this would be a great opportunity. I think this year will be a very lucrative year for us at Sounds of Autism, especially if it goes statewide. And I think we'll find some of that funding that we need to be able to build a stronger team financially. Have for my end of things, but I would love to open it up to those that attended tonight and just ask for your feedback on what you think about what we're going to be doing. And is there any kind of feedback that you would like to offer that maybe you saw, hey, we should do this as well? So Bernadette, if you don't mind, will you just kind of call people off one at a time? I have to go back to Landon because he's having a little difficulty. I'll be right back, guys. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Thank you, Cricket, so much for that. I'm going to start with Ellen. Ellen, you're the first on my list. How are you tonight? It's great to see you. I love seeing all your faces. It's awesome. Thanks for joining.
And you too.
And you might have to unmute yourself because, let me see here.
Yep. Okay, I got it. Sorry. Yeah. No, everything looked real good tonight. Look forward to what's coming down in the future.
Yeah, it really seems like, you know, I love working with you, Cricket, because, you know, we have the same focus, but it always feels like we're just defining more and more and just really making it more clear what we're going to do. And I absolutely love that. Thanks, Ellen. The next person I see here, let's see, Angelo. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Good to see you. Any input, comments, suggestions? Because we want to hear them all. That's what this is about.
Well, cricket is amazing, and so are you,
Well,
Bernadette.
we know that, right? We already know that. That's why
There's
we're here.
such energy there that it's just, you know, you can't help but want to get like involved as much as you possibly can, 24/7, 365. So that being said, there's a lot of good things that I see happening. I'm particularly like the whole idea of going out for corporate sponsorship. I think that could be so much fun. And there's so many different ways of doing that, you know, looking at the United Way, looking at something like the Arizona Community Foundation. I don't know if you could see that. I just got that in the mail from them for something else I'm working on. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to develop a endowment fund. I mean, you can call it an endowment fund, but you have to have money to have an endowment fund. Without the money, there's no endowment fund. So there's a lot of different ways to have an endowment fund managed, but you have to look at how you're going to fund it. And that could be a lot of fun, I think, you know, with different events as well as going out and knocking on doors.
I like it. Thank you. Next on my list, I see Miss Ashley Richman. Can you hear us? I don't see a video yet.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know.
I was having trouble getting my video going.
I'm sorry, because I want to see your cute face, but that's okay. Go ahead, share with us. Input, suggestions, comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, I think that there's a lot of amazing things that you guys are doing. I think that my comments would be just to continue to think outside the box, but make sure that you're not too mission divisive. there's a lot of things that are going on in a lot of great places to grow the organization. But being that it's still in young and developmental stages, just make sure that you're honed in and focused on really the core of what you're doing, and then seeking all of the funding that you can. So sharing with us a better idea of what funds are available to you from government entities or different grants that you have applied for in the past, or maybe you're looking to apply for. They're a great way to help build that nest egg.
I have a question for you, Ashley, on that. When you share mission divisive, what do you mean by that? Share with others.
So it's a term where young organizations spread their focus too thin by trying to do a lot across a big span. And so the structure that you guys have is amazing. I love the roadmap. I love that you have your 5 core areas that you focus on and the programs that are underneath them. But it's really easy in these growth stages, and especially in these high young growth stages, to want to do it all and come up with a solution for everything. And when you do that, you end up spreading your resources too thin and not being able to truly accomplish the things that you had intended to set out. And it's not an intentional thing that happens, but it's just something to be aware of as you're creating these programs and getting ready to move them into other states and into other countries, that you're just really solid in what you're doing instead of trying to encompass or encapsulate everything all at once.
Ashley, we actually received that information from Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I think it's Stewart. I don't know her last name, Bernadette, maybe I got it wrong, from ASU. And, you know, for 30 years of my life, I ran restaurants, multiple restaurants, multi-unit. You know, I had thousands of employees I was responsible for. And this task that we're taking on is very difficult. It's very difficult to execute if you've never done something like run multiple restaurants and had that many people to manage. And I totally understand your concerns about this. We spend a lot of time in the pilot stage of what we do. And when we do that, we have been working with Canada for a year. We will pilot another year before we're ready to execute. And if we're not getting sustainability, we won't execute. We won't claim that we are a nonprofit in the state of Canada, if that makes sense. So a lot of what we do is managed through our college programs, and we choose and pick leaders, and because we have students that work with us that are volunteering and interning through a college program, we have a better churn percent, I guess you could say. Like we are able to turn around more because this is a requirement for them to graduate. So we're not losing volunteers, and that's the part that I think has made us so successful so quickly. So I built this like a restaurant concept because I couldn't wrap my brain around nonprofit work. I just couldn't. I couldn't understand. I've been spending my whole life increasing sales, bottom line profit, and now they're telling me, okay, increase sales, bring in funding, but give it away. And I was like, that's not how it works. So I totally get your concerns, and I appreciate it. And we love to have people like you because you understand the financial world, and you understand where people fail. And that's why I think we are so methodical about how we do it and how strategic we're planning it. And boots on the ground will always be our foundation. And our ultimate goal is independent living and sustainability and jobs. And when we started this, I committed to my team that if we're out there and we find a solution for independent living or sustainable jobs that's truly executing and offering a better percentage than 90% failure, I would be willing to sit to the table and take these students that I'm working with and facilitate them through that program. We haven't found it, Ashley. We haven't found it in any state yet either. And in Canada, it is really bad. You'll hear James. So right now we do it all because we have to do it all. But we're looking for those people. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And believe me, I love somebody that, really pushes us to understand that we need to think about the long term. I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you,
All of that
Ashley.
sounds
Go
great.
ahead.
Completely. Oh, I said all of that. We have a solid foundation, so it really is about that solid foundation that's built at the core of our. Wow.
You're cutting in and out, Ashley. We're not getting a
no.
good reception.
Is that better?
Yes, I think so. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's amazing the foundation that you guys have. I mean, everything that you guys are saying and doing from what I've seen in even such a small snapshot is really spectacular and sustainable. So just make sure that that's kind of it, that it just stays at the forefront of your mind and that you're watching for burnout.
You're
Thank
so
you.
cute. Burnout. Did you say burnout? I'm just kidding. 10 years self-funded.
I know.
I hear you.
She said burnout. She did say burnout. Well, one of the great things, Ashley, that I'll just comment real quick on that, and then I'll move on to Yvonne, is I can feel it because I've been working with Sons of Autism now for over 3 years, and my daughter just turned 11 in September, and it can cause burnout, but at the same time, for me, it's great because I get to help families while I find the solutions for my daughter. My daughter just turned 11 and I've been living life on the spectrum for 11 years. And so with or without cricket, and cricket was a godsend, which I'll share at another time. And many of you have already heard the story how we met, but I share about my daughter anyways and what I do. And I'm just constantly trying to find those families and provide them with what I was fortunate enough to receive when I received it in order to help find the diagnosis, to get her to where she needs to be today, to be able to be in a community classroom. Cricket, on the other hand, she's, her son's almost 18. So it's neat to have both sides. My journey is 0 to 11. Her journey is 6 to 18. And the coolest thing is I don't have to go through all the heartache that Cricket went through. Cricket gets to share with me how she was able to overcome all those obstacles and those hurdles. So I too appreciate your input, and I get it because it can cause burnout. But at the same time, I'm going to help as many people as I can because I'm going through that journey anyways. So I appreciate you. And
honestly, Ashley, we can't burn out. We're raising kids with autism. That's the difference. And every one of us shaking our head, we all have them. And it's like you can't walk away. And there are parents doing it. I'll tell you, I've met a lot of parents that burned out, and that's why we're having this walk on Sunday, because they burned out. These parents burned out, and this 20 or 18-year-old boy ended up overdosing on fentanyl and is no longer with us. And those people are my motivation. So thank you. Again, thank you.
yes.
I'm going to let you go on, Bernadette.
On that note, Yvonne, I see you shaking your head because you get it too. You live life on the spectrum. Please share input, comments, suggestions. We'd love to hear you.
I think what Cricket has accomplished is amazing, and it's the work of many, many years, and it's just starting to blossom. And I think that's where I can see you're having a very good foundation. And yes, I mean, as a parents with kids on the spectrum, you burn out every day, and every day is a challenge. And sometimes it's a bad day, and sometimes you just need to whine for 5 minutes and compose yourself again. I think it's just great to know that there is more resources and how we can help other families to not go through many frustrations as we have come as parents for things we didn't know were available or we just didn't know where to go. I think for me, a lot of times I get lost on the website. That will be my only input. I think the website needs a lot more work. Like I don't even know where I can go to order the online line that you have. That will be great. I think it'd be something that would be good um, to have more as a pop out, for us that we want to do it, or maybe send a link for all of us that we can share. Um, that would be the only thing.
I love it. More user friendly. And I'm a
Yeah.
computer geek, so I'm going to have to go and sit down and check out that website more in depth, because for
Oh,
me,
yeah.
I'm able to, really navigate things and figure it out, so it doesn't make me stumble. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I have to think in terms of the user that is not so used to navigating a website. So I will definitely check that out.
Yes. Also, I mean, the person that is helping with the website, it'd be good if they can work on the keywords, because if you just Google sounds of autism itself, your page is not gonna be there. There is like 100 things that had nothing to do with your organization, and I think that can hurt somebody that is trying to find the website, and they're just gonna struggle to find the link. So I don't know. It really takes a Google specialist to get there. I don't know if you have it on the map on Google and things like that, but
We have a an odd, well, he's Asperger's, Jeremy, and he's the 45-year-old that I was telling you about, just joined us. And once we get him a job, we're working on that now. Then he will be helping us. He worked for Google, so he knows how to do the search engine optimizations. He knows
Optimization,
the
yeah.
algorithms. He knows the Facebook algorithms. He knows all those types of things. And will help us get that to become a part of our world. Right now, our website, we just wanted to get the content on there so that we had more and that it was more accessible, because we do have a lot of people that said, hey, I Googled and your name was the first one that popped up. So I was like, that's great. So now I just want to make sure that, if they go through and they navigate, that they're able to find the things that they need to find. And if those things aren't happening, we need to add additional links and stuff like that. So, maybe there's a day we sit down, Yvonne, and we go through with you. I know you do a lot with that type of stuff. We would love your input. You could sit down with us and kind of give us some insight into things that you might change, because this guy can do anything. We just have to tell him what we want.
all right, sounds great.
Yay. Thank you. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Yes. Okay, Mr. James Townend, coming from Canada. Input, suggestions, comments. And we don't see a video. I don't know if you have video, but we'd love to see your smiling face if you do.
I'm trying to get the video to work.
If you can't, that's okay too.
Well,
there you are.
Well, here I am. Oh, okay.
Here you are.
One correction, Canada isn't a state, Cricket. I know you want us to be the 51st state, but it's not quite happening just so.
Province.
Canada is a country. Alberta is a province.
That's right.
I have to explain Canadian geography again. Sorry. Since I'm saying such great things about you, I thought I'd try to find one little flaw, so
right,
people won't think you're absolutely perfect, just close. Yeah,
very close.
Comments. We're excited. As Cricket said, the mental health services here are much to be desired. My daughter's on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. Same thing as Cricket mentioned, Leonine. It's tough to find support. So what I'm doing right now, I've already started work with Autism Calgary and presenting with them financial planning 101. I'm working with a local college, so I'm hoping that will lead to help with our volunteer program eventually once we can get things figured. I'm just excited to be a part of things.
Awesome.
As I said, and that, and I try to keep it short because it's a long night and not for everybody. But I'm excited to be here. I appreciate everyone's support along this journey, and I'm looking forward to hopefully coming down to meet everyone in person in January. I've talked about that, so hopefully I can meet everybody there and learn quite a bit. As I said, a great
Thanks, James.
thing everyone is doing, and I appreciate everybody.
Thank you. We appreciate you for all you're doing up there in Canada. Okay, next, Katie Donnelly. We're so glad that you found the link. And we can't hear you yet. You're on mute, nor do we have video.
She's driving. I don't know if she's going to be able to click over, but Katie Donnelly is our master's degree student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, and she is doing an entire spread of Sounds of Autism, and the background of how this started, and me being a mom, and the team members and all the people that are involved. She's reaching out to some of these families that have had critical situations with their children. She is putting so much. I've never seen anybody put so much effort into getting all the content possible to write a story about an organization. So I cannot wait till it is completed so we can share this with you. And then Katie said that she has a very big interest. She's built relationship with Landon already, and many of the people that are on here on the panel. And we're really excited about that. So I believe that she will be one of the students, we call them those elite students, that will end up staying with us and helping us get other Walter Cronkite School of Journalism students to participate with us. So this is exciting. And then I think we have Stephen Smith left, correct?
Yeah, Stephen Smith is left. Stephen, I don't know if you have, I see you here. You just texted me. Do you see me on the screen? Because he's in his office. I'm in the living room where I have my office. Oh, there you are. We can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I think the echo's because I was on there twice somehow. So I was wondering, why am I on here twice? So that was the problem. Yeah, and Canada is its own separate country, Cricket. I don't know. And it was really throwing me off when you called it state.
Hey, don't tease us. I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, but you have me saying A ever since then, because my father-in-law is Canadian. So, but no, really excited about everything coming together and the path we're on, and I think we're building. We have obviously a great nucleus, and we're adding parts that are needed. It's almost like building the perfect baseball team or football team. You have the quarterback in cricket. You got a running back in Bernadette. You got those people in the trenches like me and Alan and so forth that are in the trenches. So I think it's all coming together. Not to do a big sports analogy, but I played sports, so it's an easy one for me. But yeah, I like our direction, and I think it's gonna really just catch fire and really suddenly be morphed into something bigger than we ever imagined, So very excited about it. And that's about it.
Thank you.
Obviously, I have a great interest with Isabella being on the spectrum and everything else. I went to school that specializes in autism, but then not sure until we meet with them what we're going to do. But it seemed like they don't integrate them into the classroom. Instead, I heard her say the word special ed class, so I'm not excited about that part of it. So Bernadette and I have to chat about that. But anyway.
He's talking about the school that he visited this afternoon, because Isabella's been having some challenges. And so we're definitely looking at options, and we want to be prepared. And that's one of the biggest things that we as parents of children on the spectrum have to do, is we have to be proactive, and we have to have a plan B, because when plan A fails, we don't have time to think about what is our plan B. We need to have it in place already and be ready to move quickly, because time is of the essence. So
well, you don't want to see your kids suffer. It's the big thing,
Exactly.
School should be the best days of our life, learning.
The funnest time. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting times.
Sorry, Bernadette, I'm gonna send you the information of the school where Elijah is, because that's full-time for autism, and it's for high functional in the spectrum. And see if that might be a good fit for Isabella.
Okay, because we are definitely considering even homeschooling. I mean, We had such a challenge in the last couple weeks. 2 incidents happened, and I always document everything and send it to everybody. As you can imagine, I'm talking about sending it to the principal, the assistant principal, the teacher, the school psychologist, the school counselor, and the special needs director of the school district, because everybody needs to be on the same page. And I was encouraged that they called me immediately and set up a meeting for this Wednesday. So I'm glad that they're considering it, or taking it rather, as seriously as I had hoped they would, because a lot of schools might just think it's trivial. Because I'm a parent. Of course, every fifth grader is going through challenges trying to fit in. But what they don't get is that my girl is not neurotypical, and she processes differently, and she thinks outside the box. So we do have a meeting, and we will connect. Yvonne, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Cricket?
pray for the parents that they don't get upset. Calling my daughter the B word and all this stuff. Oh, terrible.
Well,
Kids.
you know what? I told Bernadette today that, you know, and I know that other parents that I've met along this path, you cannot do what we do every day if you don't have your community behind you and you don't have a partner, whether it's a parent, a husband, a wife, a friend, to help support you through all of this. It is very difficult. And when I say that, because you're going along your path and all of a sudden something changes and now you're going down a whole different path you never saw coming. And what I thought was really cool is that they're doing their homework, Bernadette and Stephen, to find the best solution for their daughter who's going through a really, really rough time right now. Girls are just mean at that age, but on top of it, she has a disability. And the school, in both situations, did not have somebody in a leadership position in the room. And if they were, they completely ignored the situation that occurred twice in the same school district. And it really frustrates me because we work so hard to help educate people on how to respond. And a lot of times, because you have a title, you're a school teacher, we went to school for this, they don't want to hear it until they're in trouble because somebody has a lawsuit against them or something happens. Those are the things we're trying to avoid. And that's why Stephen and Bernadette and all of these, parents that are going and tackling this, as they do it, Stephen drove in and he wanted to check out the school without Bernadette there to see his perspective, right? Because he knows we're moms, we're going to be emotional. Let me see, dads are going to handle it a little different. It's just normal. That's normal how you do it. So, I'm so grateful for all you guys. Listen, I'm not perfect, and you all know that. I have some really awesome ideas that come in my brain. I don't know where they come from, that work. And when they don't work, we figure out either we keep them or we get rid of them. But what's really exciting to me is a lot of the content is already built and now it's just executing it. So that's what's exciting, is this year is going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to be amazed with the things that are going to happen this year and the people that are going to get around us. Because right now, West Valley, Arizona is 100% on board, and the North is starting to become as well. And University of Arizona just reached out to us. They want to get involved. GCU got involved. Creighton College, medical students reached out. They're getting involved. We have so many colleges hitting us up now to get their students to volunteer and help support us. That's huge. They're coming to us. We're not going out there and soliciting business with them. And that's exciting. That means our word is getting out there and people are getting behind what we're doing. And we're hitting the next generation of leaders and families. And that's all I ask. So thank you guys. We got through this within less than 30 minutes. And I think it's exciting to see where this ends up. So we'll see you in a couple months to share some more information. Watch for our news updates in these quarterly meetings. And if you are not out on Sunday, no big deal, but I hope to see all of you there. And minus you, James, because you're too far away in that country that you live in. But I'll definitely text you or show you.
Well,
But we'll definitely see you guys out there.
I'll try to FaceTime or remote in
Yes.
somehow
Yes.
with that, because I might be going for a walk in actual mountain,
Oh, it'll be fun. Well, you have fun.
which I don't imagine any of you
Cricket, are you passing out Cub hats for all the participants to wear?
No, that would be no.
Um,
They need to find their team first. Thank you guys. We appreciate your time tonight. Enjoy your families and go eat dinner.
Thank you, Cricket.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Thank
all you
you.
guys do.
One quick question, Cricket. Is there a specific place where we are meeting for the walk? I'm sorry, I know you mentioned something briefly at the beginning. I just need to tell my team, my clients, where are they meeting me? They've been asking me. I'm like, I don't know.
We sent out maps. I'll resend it to you, Yvonne, so you have it. And it shows you the entrance of where we're going to be. So I'll make sure everybody gets another. Every day we'll send out something to keep everybody in the loop. But yes, we will definitely get it out to you. And the entrance is, there's a specific entrance. It tells you where the food trucks are going to be and all that stuff. I'll resend it so that you can send it out to your team.
And I can tell you, Yvonne, when you make a, I was going to say, when you when you turn into you have to drive down a street kind of to get to the park. Because when you turn off of, what is it, Thunderbird, Cricket? When you turn off of Thunderbird, you have to like literally go down the street. So if you keep driving, you will see the signs and you will see the area. Just keep going straight till you come to the area where there's like a playground and the Maramatas. You'll see it.
We'll have some signs out there to direct you as well. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.